Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, Julia. We haven't talked to her in a while.
I know. It's great to see her face.
It's that Brownlow lady.
Hi.
That Brownlow lady.
All right, so Lauren, we started the show talking about this. Curious your thoughts. Do you believe in the Coach K curse for North Carolina?
What are we doing, guys?
But Lauren, they lost 4 meaningless college basketball games. Woe is us, Lauren. How?
Last night they didn't win their 22nd title.
All losses to top, I think, what was it, 35 teams in Ken Palm?
Mm-hmm.
I looked. I was like, okay, I understand that people assumed that there would be more carryover. I get why. They got it together at the end of last year. It's not together now. Understood. Mm-hmm. But also, it's not as if, they're getting beat down like they were last year in a very embarrassing fashion, by the way, a lot of times. And then B, they're losing to good teams. It's not the end of the world.
And mostly on the road.
Look at Florida State. Whose curse is that? What'd they do? Is that a football curse? Because football
Willie Taggart. Yeah, it's the Willie Taggart.
No, ever since Jimbo Fisher tossed a Christmas tree, the ghost of Christmas past has haunted Florida State. That's why. That's a thing.
Lauren Brownlow. Remember to haunt Florida State basketball. That's not fair.
Lauren Brownlow, WRALSportsFan.com, hanging out with us here on the OG alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias. I liken it to this because Brownlow, I know you love to read way more than anybody else that I know. Do you know those New York Times articles, features on couples that are cutting back on their lifestyle because they've been hit with some hardship, right?
Yeah, and you see their budgets and you're like,
excuse me? And people always try to come in well, you got to remember it's New York and you got to account for the cost of living in New York. I'm like, no. You missed the part where they said they really had to make the difficult decision to sell their 4th vacation home, or that now they actually have to eat Italian food in the city of New York rather than getting on their private jet and literally flying to Italy. That, if you think I'm making that up, I'm not. No, I am not making that up. That was in the New York Times last summer. So
that's how we know the economy's bad. Yeah,
you're right. So that to me is what Carolina fans sound like, where they're like, "Oh man, it's been a really rough couple weeks."
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it in a sense, right? They're the first #1 team to fall out this early, first one to lose 4 straight or whatever it is. Again, I do think opponents are somewhat important in that discussion, but regardless,
details.
I get it. It's you never want to be the first to do something bad when it comes to your basketball program, so understandable. And also, you're going to have to endure a whole season probably. If they can't get a few wins that are of more use to them, you'll have to endure a whole season again of this bubble talk discussion thing where every little win, every little loss they take will be scrutinized again. And but other than that, it's still overall a first world problem. Absolutely.
Lauren, I want you to, I don't ask this of you a lot, and Lauren Brownlow's hanging out with us here on the OG alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias. I don't ask this of you, so understand that I'm reluctant to do so, but I feel in the context of this conversation, it's important.
Okay.
You're a Carolina person. You went to Carolina.
Yeah, as I'm reminded in good and bad ways in my mentions by all fan bases constantly. Okay. Yes, indeed.
So if things were different, you weren't doing what you did now, and you were just hardcore Carolina person, and it was you were told, look, you're gonna screw up Coach K's farewell season. You're gonna literally end his career in the Final Four, the Armageddon. This game is gonna happen. It's gonna happen in Coach K's last year, and you're gonna send him packing, and you're gonna have an incredible, sad Mickey Krzyzewski on a golf cart driving off into retirement, all sad because of you, because of Carolina. But you're not gonna win. You're gonna have some pain along the way. You take that every time, right?
It's hard to put, I'm being honest when I say this because I am an adult now. And so It is hard to put myself back into the adolescent headspace I would have been in when I would have been presented with. But in that adolescent
I need 1997 Brownlow. Give me 1997 Brownlow.
Yeah, in that, absolutely. Yes. In that headspace, yes. Well, college Brownlow. You have to go back to 97. You need to go to 05 Brownlow if you want to. I would absolutely, but the older I get, the more I look at things like that and I just go, for what? Okay. And then what? You know what I mean? But like, but if I have to put myself back in that headspace, I also have to be an adolescent again. So yes.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not saying if you're a fan that preferred it, you're adolescent. Like, you hate who you hate. I'm not knocking it, but
To hate like this, Julio.
Yeah.
Lauren Brownlow joining us here on a Tuesday. And Lauren, let's go over to UNC football. What does it say that Cameron Kelly and Tony Grimes have had enough of the Gene Chizik and UNC defense experience, and have put their names into the portal?
I mean, if we're being honest, and this isn't meant to be a knock, because I don't know what the issue is, right? I don't know if the issue was coaching. I don't know if the issue was the players. I don't know if the issue was scheme and fit. I have no idea, right? Regardless, I think we can all agree that I don't know that we had seen a whole lot from those guys during their time at Carolina to kind of deliver on the promise of the star ranking, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think you even saw towards the end of the year, it felt like it's not often when you see a 5-star go out that it ends up being like not a drop off and maybe even an improvement at times, but it felt like that. Like when he wasn't playing anymore, it felt like they got better cornerback play at times, which you don't want to see either. So regardless of the reason it wasn't working, could he have a fresh start and do well elsewhere? I'm sure he could, you know, but I think it kind of speaks to like whatever is going on the defensive side of the ball, particularly in the defensive backfield for North Carolina, from what's going on there, because I think we've seen some growth in like their front seven over the years. We've seen some good linebacker play, but I don't know that we've seen very good secondary play during the entire, Mac Brown era. So why is that? And can they fix it? Like I don't have the best answer to that. I don't know if it's even like one simple answer, but to me, that's kind of what it speaks to more than anything else.
Lauren Brownlow, WRALSportsFan.com. She hangs out with me on the ACC Panic Room. You can watch that on our YouTube channel. Just look up 99.9 The Fan. Hit those likes. Smash the subscribe button. All right, over to the NFL, where the Baker Mayfield experiment came to a close. He asked for his release. He was granted his release. And it's back to the Sam Darnold experience. I know it's asking a lot to even have an opinion on the Panthers these days. But I do feel like throughout all this time, it's been wild to me. As bad as the Panthers have been, as much of a disaster this season has gone, up until last night, they were still in the NFC South race.
So
I know what's going to happen. Tom Brady, because of the way they closed that game last night, 17-16 over the New Orleans Saints. Had the Saints won that game, the Panthers are a game out with still plenty of season to go.
Y'all want to
was
talk about
flabbergasting
the coastal
to me.
division? That's the coastal that you see. The coastal that some of y'all see in front of your eyes is actually the NFC South. That's the real coastal right there, because whoever wins it is still going to be trash no matter what.
Yes.
It's still a trash football team. So, yeah. I mean, unless the Bucs find a way to get it together. But yeah, like
they're not. The Bucs are what they are right now, and
right.
I guess Tom Brady can show some flashes of what Tom Brady used to be, but again, it's also level to the competition that we're seeing in the NFC South.
Maybe he can put in there like separation, divorce agreement or whatever. Maybe he can add a clause in there that like Giselle can do a couple of the spells again. Like she doesn't have to do all of them, but just a couple. I don't know.
Maybe it was negotiated. Maybe it was negotiated. I get the candle that I can burn that helps us win the NFC South. But she didn't say how they'd win the NFC South.
He can't do it. He's not the witch. She is.
Okay, fair.
I'm just saying. She's the one with the powers, not him.
Dilio and I are not warlocks or witches, and yet the candle seemed to work for NC State's season. Maybe it's the candles that are affecting Carolina's season.
I thought they had the worst luck ever. What do you mean? They lost all of their quarterbacks, remember?
But they still had a great season, according to Dave Dorn, 8-4.
Hey, they won 2 games on missed kicks. So
I mean, come on. I think
that's probably 2 more than I remember in the last 25 years on missed kicks.
No, believe me, I do remember that. I do think it worked early very well. I think whatever y'all did early on did work. Which was
should we try to save the Tar Heels? Like, do we get credit if we go and save the Tar Heels? Is it up to us?
You're setting yourself up. Do you mean like for football or basketball? You mean
In general,
In
I mean,
general. Because remember,
it's
curse the K.
so problem. It's
It's
such
huge.
a
losing the
misery
national
right
title game
now.
in soccer, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really rough.
That
Even
is
though they
ridiculous.
just won another field.
Football.
Didn't they just win another field hockey
They
championship?
did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yep.
And I think they won a pickleball thing not that long ago too.
I'm sure. You
They
name
already
it.
have pickleball like as a college thing.
I think it was a club sport. I think it was a club
Oh,
sport.
that makes
like,
more sense.
Like
Okay.
the equivalent of NC State winning a bass fishing thing. It's a club thing. It's not an officially sanctioned
Hey,
sport. In
I
NC
would
State.
still.
Oh, I'll
I'd
still
be-
claim it. I mean, pickleball's hot right now. You
I was
absolutely
gonna
claim
say
that.
like everybody's playing pickleball, but yeah, no, yeah, maybe you guys can. I feel like you guys that just wouldn't end well for you guys no matter what happens, right? Because if
What
it
if we can
doesn't
get
work,
what if we can get Roy to light the candles with us?
Don't give me any ideas.
don't. Get, I was gonna say.
I'm just
listen,
saying. What if we get Roy to go to Holy Rose with us?
if y'all got Roy to do that,
I love it.
Hold
I
on.
say do it. Like, please. I hope y'all say challenge accepted because I would love to see that. I would love to see Roy enthusiastically lighting some sort of witchcraft candle.
We would just need to find
Just
a
don't
body
tell
of
him what it
water.
is.
No, we need to find a body of water for him to spit in. Can we take him to the fountain
Oh man.
over at REL?
Maybe, yeah. We could do that.
Yeah.
We could take him over to Lassiter Mill.
I would definitely do that.
All right, well, hit him up. It's the OG. Alongside Joe Giglio, I'm Joe Opia's Lauren Brownlow, WRALSportsFan.com, ACC Panic Room. We'll have another ACC Panic Room this weekend with some more hoops. We'll see if North Carolina can start getting out of its own way. This
Josh Pastner's in town.
Uh-oh, that's not good for the heels.
That's never great for anybody.
Well,
That's
it's
good for
better
us.
To be fair, it's better there than in Atlanta. In
Yes.
Atlanta, they have way more problems.
It
with
is.
the
It
jackets
is.
Than they usually. We can. Y'all need to start getting together a Pastner press conference bingo.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
We gotta get him on this week. When do they play?
They play on Saturday.
Saturday.
Right?
All right, yeah, we're putting a call in right now.
Yeah, it's a full day of basketball on Saturday this weekend. So yeah.
Lauren Brownlow, WRALSportsFan.com. All right, we'll talk to you later.